I'm Andrew Taylor from Blue Corner Marine Research, and in this video I'm going to be answering some questions. Question 1. Why did you become a marine biologist and where did you study? I first started scuba diving when I was 12 in Malaysia, and I really liked snorkeling on the reefs and scuba diving on the reefs and seeing all the fish and the barracudas and the sharks and everything. So I really started enjoying the ocean. And then once I graduated from high school, I wanted to study about the environment, so I enrolled in environmental science and studied that in Canada. Throughout university, I was also working as a scuba diving instructor in various areas around Thailand and Indonesia, and got involved in some coral restoration projects after various impacts, and as well as projects that were being run by dive centers, by marine parks, and just became very interested in different types of coral restoration, and saw that there was a need to study it because at that time there was still not a lot of research being done on coral restoration. So then I enrolled in a master's degree in marine biology, focusing specifically on corals and restoration ecology. And that master's degree was in James Cook University in Australia. The second question is, how do you take the corals to the reef and plant them? So here at Blue Corner Marine Research, we've got a coral restoration project that we've been working on for the last 3.5 years. It's in Nusa Penida, in just off the coast of Bali, and at the restoration site we have a nursery where young corals are growing. So we collect the corals that have been broken from maybe a turtle has been eating away on an area of reef and broken off some coral fragments, or maybe some coral fragments have been kicked by snorkelers or divers. So any coral fragments that are still alive but are dislodged, we try and save them and bring them to our nursery, where they are then grown to a larger size and transplanted onto frames in the reef. So we actually keep the corals in the ocean, in the water, on the reef the whole time. We don't bring them back from our lab back and forth. With the corals that are growing in the nursery, we're able to take fragments from those corals, where as a coral starts to grow out in size, then we can take clippings from that nursery coral and transplant them onto frames out on the reef, and we can continue to use those nursery corals as parent stock then to outplant onto the reef, so that eventually we'll have quite a few corals out on the reef. Question 3 is, how many corals have I planted? In this particular restoration project in Nusa Penida, we have planted about 300 coral frames. Each frame has about 40 coral fragments on them. So 40 coral fragments on about 300 frames would be about 12,000 coral that we've planted on the frames at the restoration site. In addition to that, we also have our nursery corals growing, and we have about 20 ropes at any given time, and each rope has about 20 coral fragments on, so that's an additional 400 corals or so that are growing as parent stock in our nursery. In other restoration projects I've been involved in, we have done various other planting as well, but that's specific to the last 3 years of the coral restoration project we're working on here in Nusa Penida. Question 4. Does the coral need any preparations? For example, is there a specific time that we need to plant the corals? So there is times of the year when it is better to plant corals than others. So during throughout the season, there'll be a warm period of the year and a cold period of the year in the water, and the corals are generally growing a lot faster and more during the warm water periods, and slow down a little bit when we get the cold upwellings around Nusa Penida and the water temperature drops a bit. So we find we get the best results when we're transplanting during these warm months, because the coral already is in a state of in a growth phase during that time. So before we can take the corals and transplant them onto an area of degraded reef, what we have to do is we have to make sure that that reef is suitable for the corals to grow. In an area where the reef has been degraded, often there's dead coral skeleton turned into rubble, sort of moving back and forth in the water. So it's not suitable to transplant a coral directly onto this rubble, because that means that it'll just erode away, the rubble will break it apart, and there'll be nothing stable for the coral to then grow into its own colony. So what we first have to do is to stabilize the degraded reef. So we have to either bring in some sort of stable structure or try and get the rubble to stabilize on its own. So we have a couple different methods. We roll out some mesh to try and get the rubble to stabilize a little bit, and then have soft corals and sponges hopefully settle in those areas. And then also we add metal reef frames. So they're about 1 meter square rebar that we coat with epoxy and sand, so it creates sort of a natural substrate. And those frames are placed on the rubble. So then when we transplant the corals, we can attach them to these frames, and then the corals are able to grow up above the shifting rubble, and it provides a stable substrate for those corals to grow out, and eventually be above the shifting rubble. So there is a bit of preparation where we have to provide that stable structure in order for the corals to be able to grow from. I hope that has answered some of your questions. If anyone has further questions, feel free to send me an email or message through one of our social media channels. Thank you.